There is a documentary film premiere coming up in St. Louis. It's next week, Tuesday, April 21st at 8 p.m. It's at the Perina Event Center, and it's to benefit the RH Foundation, and the documentary is called Black Beauty Breed. Angie Ruiz is a filmmaker and the actress behind the project. Good morning, Angie.
Good morning.
This is a documentary that looks at the Rottweiler breed.
Yes.
Which is portrayed as a very vicious and dangerous dog and a very vicious and dangerous breed.
No.
No?
No. Well, that's actually why I made the documentary. I needed to do something to help people understand that that's exactly what they are not. They are actually a working breed. So if you think about working breeds, the Portuguese water dog is a working breed, the husky, the boxer, the Great Dane. So this being that he's a working, the Rottweiler is a working breed, they do things like herding cattle,
right,
pulling carts, agility. But some of the things that they do for society is they're on search and rescue teams. They were at 9/11 as some of the search and rescue dogs.
Right.
They also do therapy. They work in nursing homes. They work with children, and they work with cancer patients. And in the film, you'll see a Rottweiler that was credited with helping a girl who had been hit by a car come out of a coma. And it's really touching story, and it's in the documentary.
These are highly trained Rottweilers, though.
They are trained Rottweilers, but the therapy Rottweilers often... in the film, one of the women that's credited with starting the whole therapy program with Rottweilers will say, a Rottweiler, a therapy dog is born; they're not made. So there is a quality that they innately have. Some of them that they just are natural therapy dogs.
In your film, also, one lady says, they're more than just what you think of the backyard guard dog.
Yes.
And how did they get such a bad rap?
I honestly think it started with the Omen in the 70s, because prior to that, they had been here and they were working dogs, working on farms and things like that. And they were recognized by AKC and part of the Westminster Dog Show, many years ago before the Omen came. Then the Omen sort of portrayed them as this evil dog. And I think that's why everyone just latched onto that. And in the 80s, and you start to see them as guard dogs. You saw them in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, the guard dog at the end. So I honestly think that's what perpetuated the image. And certainly, I think that just caught on. I mean, now you sometimes see them in print. If there's like a crazy dog in any sort of post or anything, it's usually a Rottweiler, which is really a shame, because it's such that's what I'm trying to do, is help kind of change that image in the public consciousness.
But you can't deny the fact that there have been Rottweilers who have attacked human beings.
Yes.
And they and pit bulls are probably the two dog breeds that probably attack humans the most.
I would actually disagree with that.
You would? There are others?
I believe that they're often, because again, it's a good story when that happens. But can I tell you, in Los Angeles, even recently, there was an attack on, I think it was a woman, and they just said Rottweiler, and then it came out and they corrected it because we called them, it was a black lab. So oftentimes, I think that because of their image in the past, they're the most reported stories. But let me tell you, while working on this documentary, there are a lot of dogs that attack, and sometimes they're small dogs, and sometimes they injure children worse.
And that's the thing. Any dog is capable
Absolutely.
of attacking another dog or a human.
Absolutely.
It's just the way you train them and the way you raise them.
Right. So, yes, I mean, of course, I'm not going to disagree with you. I've obviously read reports and have seen the, newspaper articles as well when that happens. But, there is I think that's an exception to the rule. Some people might disagree with me. There's a lot of people that don't like dogs, but I've seen it firsthand, and it's just not the case.
But there are, are you a Rottweiler owner? Were you a Rottweiler fan? Did you have them growing up? What's this love affair with Rottweilers?
Well, I've rescued one in 2007, and I didn't know much about the breed at the time, and I learned so much about them, and I had at the time would have loved to see a documentary that helped me understand them, because I had to gather information. Back in 2007, YouTube was brand new. And, so I did a lot of internet research and talked to different people and trainers. And I was amazed at what I learned about their history as a working dog, coming from Europe. That's where they were a drover dog for the ancient Roman armies. They pushed the cattle for them, and then they worked on farms in Germany. And they just have a really rich heritage and a lineage. And I was amazed by that because I also had seen all the films and everything. And when I rescued my dog, I wanted it to be a successful rescue. That's why I did all the research that I did. And I realized, wow, there's so much that I didn't know. I'm sure there's a lot of people aren't aware of this. So I wanted to make that.
Do you hope so? What do you hope that people get out of the documentary?
If anything, I just want people to understand the breed a bit better, and hopefully shift that public perception that they are just bred, or that they're just these born vicious dogs, because that's not the case.
Is it a situation where they're working dogs and they're trained, and yet people think they're sort of household pets and they're not really bred to be a household pet?
Well, they actually are amazing family members. Let me tell you a quick story. I rescued my boy he was 9 months old. He was already 100 pounds. So I wanted to make sure that we knew everything that we could about this breed. And of course, we invested in training, socialization. He went everywhere with us. And I honestly think with any dog, that's the most important thing. But then I got pregnant with my first child, and everyone, there were a lot of people that approached me that said, are you going to be getting rid of your dog? Aren't you afraid? And I said no. And he took it to the next level. When my daughter was born, it makes me tear up. He was the most gentle, sweet dog. He innately knew this was a new member of the family, and he respected that. And now I have 2 girls. He loved those girls to the end, even when he had bone cancer and he was suffering and in pain. And they would come up to him and pet him, and my little daughter, who's 2, would lay on him. He never, ever growled or anything, and he was in such pain. So I think now my dog just recently passed away last week. I don't know, I think there's just a mission now for me to help get this into the public consciousness and for people to become more aware of these dogs.
The documentary is Black Beauty Breed. Angie Ruiz is the filmmaker and part of the movie. April 21st, next Tuesday at 8 p.m. at the Purina Event Center. The RH Foundation is...
the Rottweiler Health Foundation.
The Rottweiler Health Foundation, thank you. To get tickets, arcnationals.com, arcnationals.com, or the film website, blackbeautybreed.com. Angie, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
8:25 here, Big 550, KTR.